Hi, this is episode 11 of Rory's Table Tennis Topics, and as usual, I've got some new guests. So we've got Ivan Lewis, we've got Calum Morrison, Krish Chotai, and Luc Miller. So I'm going to let them give a bit of an introduction to how they got into table tennis, where they're at now, maybe some of their achievements or goals in the sport, and then we'll get on with the main topic, which is tournaments in the UK. So, Ivan, would you like to start?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been playing a long time. My dad got me started when I was probably about 7 years old. He played for Grimsby many years ago. I was I suppose, a decent youngster playing. Won under-13s competition and under-16s in Leeds. Packed in probably about 18 and then didn't play for another 15, 20 years or so. And then came back, started to play socially, and I have a daughter, and as she got older, didn't need me as much, so I started to play more and more. I think my first proper comp was a Grand Prix at Liverpool. I used to do a few of the Grand Prix comps. And then I started to play more and more, got into it more, then into the veteran circuit.
So Ivan, just to stop you there. So the first time I would have met you would have been in the Grand Prix, I guess, 15 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, probably even longer, actually. Yeah,
could be. You used to go around with Julian Gittins, I think, Chopper.
Yeah, well, I think it was Julian that introduced us to it. And I remember, the first comp, actually, I think I took a few people by surprise. No one had heard of me, and I did quite well in the groups, in the bands, and then I got to the final of the veterans on the Sunday. Lost to Dave Godbold in the final.
Yeah.
And then a little bit after that, I won one. I beat Lee Neal in the semi-final, who was number 2 vet in the country at that time.
Very good.
And then I won that one. And then I moved. I
remember
more on
the hammer grip, yeah. So
still the hammer grip. Still play with no finger, just a hammer. Yeah, I don't know why. No idea how that came about.
Very unusual.
I was either going to chop the finger off or just try and hide it, and I've used the hammer grip ever since.
And you use short pimples on your forehand, right?
Forehand.
So when did you change to the short pimples?
Well, basically, when I came back to play, I was a Division 2 player in Leeds, and I never had a good forehand. Never had a good loop. I was a good smasher of the ball, but never had a good loop. And we got promoted to Division 1, my team, and the first year I got battered, absolutely horrendous. And I either had to pack in or change my game. And so I decided to try short pimps on my forehand. And obviously I put a lot more time effort into it as well. And I just got better and better, and it suited my game. And of course, I think one of the advantages, you don't get many people playing with short pimps on the forehand.
No. Matthias Falk is the obvious one.
Yeah. So it's quite unusual, and I think it has helped me.
He's obviously copied off you, Ivan, I'm sure.
Sorry?
He's obviously copied off you, hasn't he?
Who? Oh,
Matthias Falk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's great. So it's helped my game enormously, and I've just worked at my game. So I've done pretty well, really. My game's improved. I'm 58 now, and I think it's got better and better.
And so you're 37 in the vets. I don't know what you are in the over 50s. Do you know?
I'm around about 20, I think, in the 50s. I probably should be higher in the 50s.
And you've been as high as what in the vets? Was it 17? You've been in the
18. 18. I got to 18 in the vets. I've won 7 50s doubles titles in the Masters, 1 singles 50s. I won the last 2 summer vets competitions in Halifax. And we won the Vets British League with the help of Michael O'Driscoll in our team a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So
not such a good record against me, though, have you?
No.
Okay, we'll move on.
To be fair, I mean, we've always had this discussion. I think we are of a similar standard. Your style really doesn't suit me. And to be honest with you, Rory, I think you've got some of the best serves around, and I really struggle with your serve. I look forward to playing you again, maybe down at Simon Morgan's place sometime.
Moving on to someone who doesn't have any problem playing against me, at least not nowadays. A couple of times, I did beat him a couple of times when he was a cadet, but Calum Morrison, just tell us a bit about how you got into table tennis and your kind of table tennis story.
I started in about 2008, and I first started playing squash actually at my local sports club. And then I think one night straight after squash, I just went to a table tennis session after that, and I quite enjoyed it. So after that, I think I played table tennis maybe once or twice a week after that, and then eventually I had to decide whether I wanted to keep playing squash or keep playing table tennis. So I kept playing table tennis after that, and then I think after maybe 2 or 3 years, I was playing more, so maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and then I was starting to play Edinburgh leagues and National League. So I think after those sort of 2 or 3 years, I realised that I was improving quite a bit, and I decided to keep going after that. And I would say I think 3 or 4 years after that, I started playing more national competitions and things like Junior British League and Senior British League, which also helped quite a lot. And now I'm playing at Nottingham University, and I'm going to 3rd year, so it's gone pretty fast.
And you're number 4 in the Scottish seniors right now?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
Where have you got to in the national championships, seniors and maybe juniors and stuff? How did you do?
The best I've done in seniors is semi-finals, and in the juniors, cadets and minors, I've won that. So yeah, my next target's probably seniors in a few years' time.
It's a bit of a funny story as to how I first kind of heard about you, got in contact with you with your dad. Basically, I was short of a player for National Junior League. You may not know this story. And I literally put a comment on Twitter looking for a National Junior League player. And your dad came back and he obviously saw, I didn't know who he was at the time. And he came back and he said that you weren't available, but that you'd be interested in the future and whatever. Anyway, then I was putting in Junior British League teams into the qualifiers, and you'd signed up for that. Your dad signed you up for that, but then you had to play in the European Youth Championships for Scotland.
Okay, yeah.
And so you didn't end up playing, but the team actually qualified. Well, I entered 3 teams, and strangely the second team qualified, which wasn't the one you were supposed to be on the first team. And so those 3 players that actually played in the qualifiers they went and played in the Junior British League. And I'd signed you up as well because, you were interested, and obviously you were a good player. You were better than any of them. But they were struggling in relegation, whatever else. And we brought you in for the second weekend, and I think you won every single match. But yeah, and then you after that, you played Senior British League for my team for a couple of seasons, at least one season. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but yeah.
Yeah, two or three, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And I know we played each other at the Jersey Grand Prix twice in the same weekend, and we had a couple of close ones which I managed to win, but I think you were only 14 or something at the time. Yeah, since then you've given me a few thrashings, but that's fair enough. Okay, so we'll move on to Krish. Would you like to unmute yourself, Krish, and tell us about your table tennis journey so far? Obviously, it's early days.
So I started playing. We went on holiday, and we're in Dubai. We just me and my brother found these tables, so we started playing with them. And then my mum thought we were quite good, so then she entered us for Surrey Youth Games. And then we came first in that, so then just entered my first competition. Yeah.
You were first place in your first ever competition.
It was the Surrey Youth Games, just for beginners, really.
Still, is that right? You were first place in the first competition.
Yeah, it was a team of 3.
That's really good. I didn't know that. And then where did it go from there? You joined a club, or how did it go?
Oh yeah, we joined Alexandra Club. It was only it's quite a good club, yeah. Me and Jay just
are you still there, or you moved on to a different club, or?
We still play. It's at my school. Yeah. But we play at Graham Spicer as well.
Graham Spicer, yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of things have you achieved? I mean, I think you're ranked 21 in England cadet. And are you still a cadet next season?
Yeah, I'm still a cadet, yeah.
Okay, so that'll probably go up. I don't know what you are in the under 14s right now, but what have you kind of done tournament-wise? I know you've won a few of my two-star competitions. You beat Harry Yip at one point, which was a good win. He's, I think, number 7 in the same age group as you. 7 in the under 14.
I don't think I beat Harry yet. I haven't beat Harry yet, no.
You haven't?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. I think I got close, but I don't think I beat him.
Well, you either beat him or it was close in the 5th. But yeah, I thought you
Yeah.
beat him. But anyway, what else have you kind of done tournament-wise, or?
Well, on my first year, I got into nationals, kind of scraped in. I got at the group stage and I lost the next match. So
Yeah, and have you done well in the Surrey kind of? Have you played for Surrey in the county championships, or?
yeah, I played for Surrey junior. Yeah, I think it was juniors. I think it was at Burgess Hill.
Yeah.
And I won 2 or 3 out of 4 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are your kind of goals for the future, and maybe how much are you training to get towards those goals? Maybe not in lockdown, but outside of lockdown.
My goal is to get top 10 or top 5 in England right now. Yeah.
What, in the men's or just in the cadets or juniors or?
Cadets, juniors, and seniors, stuff like that.
Yeah. And how much are you training?
I train probably 3-4 times a week.
What, for 2 hours each time, or?
We do 2 hours, do 3 2-hour sessions, and then we do 1 hour at Graham Spicer.
Right. And your brother plays as well, and I know you're obviously at a higher level than your brother, which is probably a bit contentious within the family, I guess. There's a bit of rivalry there. But it's always good to have someone in the family that you can practice against.
Yeah, because we play in the garage quite a lot as well, because you have a table.
And I saw a few videos going around Facebook about you and your brother playing outside as well on your table.
Yeah, we played out quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, we'll move on to Luke. Oh, and just to say about, in terms of me meeting Krish, it would have been at my junior 2 stars. And actually, the very first time I met him was at a circuit tournament, for beginners, when he was 7. So I don't know if you remember that. I remember there was some people took some photographs. I remember you were wearing an orange top. I don't know why I remember that, but yeah, you were age 7 and you probably couldn't reach over the table. I think you did quite well in it, but it was obviously quite a while ago. So anyway, we'll move on to Luke. Luke, would you like to introduce yourself and how you got into table tennis, etc.?
Yeah, cool. So my name's Luc Miller, as Rory said. From Jersey. Started playing when I was 8. There was a lad on the estate that used to play, so I went down with him. And it was good fun. Went to an open day. Quite liked a few of the lads there and stuff, so kept playing. When I was 16, I moved to Grantham. Been there for 2 years. Obviously cut short because of the whole Corona thing.
You going to go to university then? Is that or?
That was the plan. I kind of got shafted on results day, to be fair. So now I'm probably going to take a gap year and then reapply.
Right.
But I don't think I'm the only one, to be honest. So it's not the end of the world.
No, the lockdown's made your hair go blonde, has it?
Yeah, most people probably don't recognise me anymore. But yeah, it's been a mad few months, hasn't it? So just thought I'd switch things up a bit.
And what about goals for the future and stuff?
I want to play the Commonwealths. Obviously, I can play for Jersey, so it's a little bit easier than being in England and stuff. Still going to be quite tough, but
one of the advantages of being in a small kind of nation, if you like. So it's with you and Jordan Wykes, is it? I guess. Yeah,
me and Geordie, hopefully, and Kelsey LeMaitre as well. Who's a good.
Is it just a singles or is it a team as well?
I don't think we've got enough for a team, so it'll probably be singles and a bit of dubs as well. If we both get in, that'd be nice. Yeah.
And I think I just looked up. You're 76 in the English ratings, which obviously you don't appear in the rankings because you're from Jersey. But what was it like, kind of growing up in Jersey and playing table tennis? Obviously, in a small island, less players.
Oh, it was nice. It's nice, we've got a really good facility. We've got a purpose-built centre and stuff, and so it was cool. Made a load of really good mates, and still when I come back, I still keep in touch with them and stuff. So yeah, it was good. Obviously, you get to when you're about for me, when I was about 15, 16, you get to a level and it's quite difficult to improve. We don't really have like a full-time coach as such. And
No, you
like
used
a
it
lot
with
of the
Craig
players,
Gascoigne, didn't you?
yeah, so we used to have Craig. Yeah, he's known for, obviously, I think he was like top 20 in England, and he's played for multiple different countries. I think England, Scotland, and Jersey during his career. But he was good, and yeah, he was Germany actually, and so I haven't heard from him since. But yeah, I hope he's doing well if he's watching.
Yeah, so we had Luke Greenfield, also from Jersey, on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about Craig and coaching and playing table tennis on the island and so on. But good. And so I guess the first time I met you would have been probably, well, it was either me playing the Jersey Grand Prix, or it would have been a Sussex Grand Prix, which you came over to, when you were like, I don't know, 12 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah, that's mad that you remember that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first time I saw you. I think I was literally like 10. And
Oh,
I
were you
was
10? Was it that long?
Yeah, I was so young, I remember. And I was so gassed just to be going away. That's the thing, when you live in Jersey, like, we treat these tournaments like holidays. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool. And I do actually remember seeing you behind the referee's desk, I think.
Yeah, so I get to know a lot of people, obviously, because I'm a prolific player, go around all the tournaments. I'm a referee. I'm refereeing 20, 30 tournaments a year. Obviously, I'm a coach as well, so I'm meeting a lot of people that way. So yeah, I do get to see a wide variety of people, which is nice, and you get to know people. Anyway, so moving on, just our topics today is centered around the tournaments in the UK, and the various different formats, what's good, what can be changed, and different people's opinions and views. Okay, so quick introduction to the different formats. One of the popular formats, which is mainly done with the veterans tournaments, although there's some seniors tournaments as well with the same format, is you have groups of 8 on one table, and over the course of a day you play everybody in that group, and there's bands. So the top 8 people go into band A, the next 8 people in band B, and so on. So you get 7 matches. You're guaranteed 7 matches against players your own ability based on ranking, unless your ranking is completely, off where it should be. And that's one format. Another format is, say, like the Grand Prix formats, where you have the bands. You've got 6 different bands for the men, 4 different bands for the women, and you play groups of 4 and then knockout. And you can get a morning band and an afternoon band in, and they do a similar thing on the Sunday, but it's not banded. You got the men's and ladies singles in the morning, and then you've got the vets and the under 21s and the doubles in the afternoon. Then you've got the Vets Masters format, which is where you have groups. All the groups are on the Saturday generally, and then you have a straight knockout on the Sunday. And you can play in 2 singles and 1 doubles event, or it could be 2 doubles and 1 singles, or obviously you can play less events if you don't want to play all 3 events. And then you've got the kind of format where I use for the 2 stars I run, which is, so I have either 6 or 4 age groups, depending on which tournament it is. And you have morning age groups and afternoon age groups. So you can play in the morning, groups of 4 straight knockout, but you've got consolation singles as well for those who don't make it into the top 2. And then you have the same again, and then it goes knockout, and you get the same again in the afternoon. So you could have, say, under 12s in the morning, under 13s in the afternoon. There's another group format which Mike Atkinson uses in Milton Keynes, where I think you have 18 players, I think, and they're split into 6 groups of 3. And then you get the winners going into 2 groups of 3. The second place in the group goes into another 2 groups of 3, and the third place goes into another 2 groups of 3. And they play those groups again, and then the winners of those groups go forwards, into another group. So I'm not sure if that's exactly the format, but it's something like that. So it's group on group. And there's other formats like the old system they used in the Bats Super League, where they had 32 players. And if you won your first round, you went into the top half. If you didn't, you came into the bottom half. and then you'd play somebody else who either, if you won, you played somebody else who won. If you lost, you played somebody else who lost. And anyway, everybody got 5 games, and you ended up with position between 1 to 32 by the end of the evening. And you ended up, your last match was against somebody your own ability, at least in theory. I mean, there's other formats as well, but I'm not going to list any more because that's enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each guest what their favorite tournament format is and why. It doesn't have to be one of the ones I mentioned. So, Ivan, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. For me, the best format is the Vets Masters comps over the weekend that you mentioned, where in my case, I can play in the 40s and the 50s on the Saturday in groups of 4. Top 2 go into the main draw, bottom 2 go into the consolation, and then there's a doubles that's played out in the afternoon. And then Sunday, it's basically knockout in the 40s and 50s and however long that takes. For me, that's probably the most enjoyable from the point of view of, one, we tend to go for the weekend, so it's 2 nights away, so it's a nice weekend away. It's very sociable. It's great seeing, friends, table tennis friends. And also I like the big comp setup. I like the atmosphere. I like being able to watch other matches. And I'm a bit of a showman, so I like playing in front of a crowd. I like to have a bit of fun on the table. So that for me is the best competition, and I really, really enjoy that format.
Excellent. Calum?
I've got a few. I do like the banded events, just because, as you said, you get to play lots of people around your level. And I think for the majority of people, you want to be playing lots of matches around your level so that you know what you're doing wrong in matches and how you can improve. But if you're playing somebody way above you, way below, it's quite difficult to see what's happening in the match and where you're making mistakes or things like that. So
is this the ratings format where you have band 1, band 2, with the 8 people in each group? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I like those, and I also like just any team event, basically. Yeah. I just think the best matches that I've played have usually been in team events. And I think that's just because you've got people behind you. You want to be winning not only for yourself, but for your team as well. And even if it's your local league team or your country, either way, you want to be playing your best and represent your club or your country. And I think that is just the most exciting competition for me. And I think as well, they definitely have the best atmospheres too, because usually there's some sort of rivalry between either countries or clubs. And I think generally, as I said, the atmosphere there is probably the best that I've experienced.
So we're mainly focusing on the individual events, but no problem there. We've got a question on team events a bit later. But yeah, cool, no worries. Krish, if we move on to you.
I just like the ones like what you do, where you just do like a group of 4 or 6, and then after that it's straight knockout because it's more tense. Yeah.
So there's a different kind of attitude, I think, in a group. There's maybe less pressure when it gets to a knockout, and I think you need the experience of the knockout system because it's a lot more pressure. If you lose that match, you're out the tournament. In the group of 8, you know that you've got 7 matches, and I know as a player, I had most of my big wins in groups, and some of the time it was because it was when it was kind of a dead rubber. I'd already not got through the group, or I'd already got through the group, and it was kind of the last match didn't really matter too much, and there was less pressure. It makes a big difference. So is that what you're thinking? So, Krish, that the kind of pressure of needing to win that match, or is that why?
Yeah, I prefer it because it's just more tense and more pressure. So, it makes you win more.
You can still, obviously, if you're winning the matches, you can still get a lot of matches. But in those kind of formats, even if you lost every match on the day and you played both events morning and afternoon, you'd get 3 matches in both of the groups. That's 6 matches, and you get 2 knockout matches. That's 8 matches. So you still get 8 matches in a day, which is still more than the ratings format. I mean, obviously, there's going to be cases where there's groups of 3, so you're not always going to get that number of matches. Okay, so Luke, your favorite tournament format?
For me, I like a round robin, but to be honest, I'm struggling to think of tournaments that I've played in where there is like a complete round robin format. You're usually like the Grand Prix, you have like a round robin in the group, and then you get chucked into the knockouts, and you just got to kind of make your way.
There's a Sycamore senior one, which in Nottingham, which you're in Grantham, so it's not that far from Nottingham, is it? So that's one option. I have done them in the past. I'm not doing them so much now. I'm doing the knockout format now, mainly. But yeah, there's not many for the seniors. There's the odd one here and there. Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. I was struggling to find one, but no, I just think more matches the better. I mean, I'm paying usually to play the tournament, and so the more matches I can get, better value for money and all of that. Okay, so my thoughts on this, I'd agree with Krish. I like a tournament where you're going to get a lot of matches, and B, maybe 2 different categories, because say if you do badly in one, you've got another category. C, constellation, because if you're playing people that are just too good for you, it's nice to then have a chance in the kind of constellation to play against people your own level. And the knockout element as well. I mean, you get both. You get the group element where there's less pressure, and then you get the knockout element where there is pressure. And I think winning tournaments is great when you've kind of gone through the knockout rounds and won the final. It doesn't feel quite the same as you've won a group. You've played a group of 8 people. You may not have won all your matches. You may have won all your matches, but you get the trophy at the end or whatever it is, and it doesn't quite feel the same as if you've actually won the final. Don't get me wrong. I do like the ratings tournament. You get a lot of matches, and they're against people your own level, and I support the ratings tournaments, and I'll continue to do so. But I think for me, my number one is the format that I use for my own junior and cadet tournaments, which is why I use it, because I think it's a very popular format. I definitely get more entries when I run that format. Okay, so moving on.
Rory, you touched on something there. I just wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
You mentioned about when you're in a group of 8 and you're playing all these matches, and it's not quite the same pressure. You might have lost 2 and you've won 5.
Yeah.
Do you find the pressure difficult in the big tournaments where it's knockout? Do you find that you don't play your best in those situations?
Yeah. I mean, quite often. I mean, obviously you have your days where you're on fire and you thrive off that pressure. But you have other days where maybe things are not going so well, and you do feel pressure in the knockout situation more so than you would in a group situation. Whereas you could lose your first 1 or 2 games in a group of 8, and you can still come out and win the tournament. If you lose in a knockout, that's it. You're done.
It's interesting because when Calum mentioned about playing in a team event, he likes that format and playing for the team. I find in the team events, I don't play my best table tennis. Yeah. I actually feel I play my best table tennis when I'm just playing for myself in a knockout, because I like that pressure, and it's all down to me. I'm only going to let myself down, whereas it's different in a team. 100%. So I 100% agree with that. I generally perform under par in team events, British League, Vets British League. I mean, I can still play to more or less my own level, but my best results have certainly been in singles tournaments. Yeah. And I like the build-up as you're getting through the rounds on a Sunday. Yeah. Say, getting through the first round, second round, third, then the quarterfinals, and then the adrenaline's go in. You're in the zone. You want to get on with the next one. That, for me, you can't match. You can't beat that.
100%, yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to the second question, which is your least favorite tournament format and why. Ivan.
Well, you'll probably laugh at this. It's still the Vets Masters comps.
You can't say that. You just said it was your favourite.
I know, and it's also my least favourite. And the only reason it's my least favourite is that sometimes there's a frustration of a big delay between matches, an awful lot of empty tables, which is a frustration when you know you've got someone you're playing next and you're still not playing for another hour or 2 hours before you actually can play them. And so it's a massive frustration. And I think it's a problem for the organisers, to get on top of that. And I appreciate that. And I haven't ran one of these competitions. But I think that's the only frustration, especially on a Sunday, where you might have a 4-hour drive home from Thornbury and Bristol, and you can see your next opponent's free, but you're not called for a long, long time. So I think that is a frustration.
I've never heard of someone to pick their favourite and least favourite tournament format at the same tournament format.
I know. I thought about it when I wrote it down. It's true. It is.
Okay.
And for others as well, probably, because everyone loves them, but some of the other frustrations are the withdrawals. So many people don't turn up on a Sunday morning. They either don't fancy the draw, think they're going to get knocked out straight away, or they've had too much to drink. And that's a big problem.
Okay, we'll move on to Calum then. Your least favourite tournament format and why?
I'm going to go for Grand Prix for now.
Okay.
Although, just because I think whenever I play a Grand Prix, usually at the end, I either think I've played unbelievable for the whole weekend or I've had a shocker. And I think it's very difficult to have an in-between sort of competition. And either, I think it's just the style of having very small groups, groups of 3 or maybe 4. And it's a big difference if you get second in your group or first. And in a group of 3, it's quite likely you're going to have quite a top player, a decent player, and then a lower player. And if you're playing that top player and you lose, you're pretty demotivated after that. And then if you get second in your group, you're going to get another top player after that. So I find sometimes the men's competition and sometimes under 21s as well can be quite short if you're not playing well.
You do have 4 chances. That's all I'll say. You do have 4 competitions to do your best in, I guess.
That's true. Yeah, if you're doing well in the banded events, then it can be good. Like as I said, if you are playing really well, I think the Grand Prix are great because you've got those banded events where if you're playing well, you can beat lots of players and you'll do well in those. And the same if you're playing well. If you're going in the men's, you can get a couple of good wins. But yeah, I was going to say I think it's the change between a relatively low pressure environment in the groups and then going straight to knockout where you could be playing someone really quite good and you've really got to change your mentality and just switch on a bit more between those groups in that first round of knockout. So I would say if you're not having the greatest day, I find that really difficult. But if you're playing in a group where you might have 6 or 7 players, it's a lot easier to transition between those matches because you know that you've still got a few more matches to play, and that if you're not playing great, then you still have a few more to make some progress, I guess, or get some wins. But yeah, I would say it's a change between those short groups and the knockout for me that's the hardest bit.
Okay, no problem. Krish, your least favourite tournament format?
I don't like the group ones, like when there's like 3 groups of 6, like kind of like the Milton Keynes ones, because
All right.
less pressure.
The group format where there's no kind of knockout section.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why don't you like that?
Because I think I play better under pressure, and there's not as much pressure in the group one, so
yeah. Yeah. I'm playing a tennis league in lockdown. Oh well, I played one already, and not too bad at tennis. I came second in Division 1, and the second round, I'm due to play somebody, and I said to him, "Did you want to play? Friday or whatever?" I said, "I can play Friday, but can we have a practice first, and then I'll play you in the match afterwards?" And I thought, "What? No, I want to play you in the match first." Because when I play someone for the first time, I'm like really keen and I want to win. If I've played somebody just the week before or something. I just, just there's less pressure. You don't perform. I don't know. So anyway, it's kind of related.
Why should he know your style anyway? He shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
It seemed a bit strange. Anyway, moving on to Luke, your least favorite tournament format, and why?
For me, it's the straight knockout for the same reason that I gave for liking the round robin. Obviously, straight knockout.
Yes, straight knockout is actually I didn't mention that format, but literally not many tournaments do it nowadays, but some
depends on the level, and also a tournament without a consolation.
Yeah, sorry, I was just saying a straight knockout tournament is where like you could have one match and then you're out. So I think probably a lot of people would agree that that's probably the worst format, but you don't see that very often nowadays. And you were saying
I think
tournaments without a consolation, you said as well.
Yeah, so obviously Jersey are normally quite well represented in the consolation. So I'm just giving a shout out to the boys, But no, I think the only tournament I can think of with that straight knockout format is probably we played the Six Nations, the home countries it's called now.
Yeah.
And that was I think the top seed was straight quarter final. Obviously there was only 15 players, and that was a straight knockout. So I don't know. I mean, I bagged the silver. I was pretty happy with that, but
not bad.
Nice to play a few more matches,
Talking about Six Nations home countries, I've been watching the Table Tennis Scotland, podcasts or whatever you want to call them, and I've seen Calum on a couple of them, and they keep saying Colin Dalglish is British champion and all this. But Ireland is not part of Britain. Don't they know that? Ireland is not part of Britain. Anyway, you can pass that message on to David Fairholm, Calum. He's
okay, I'll let him know.
Home countries champion or Six Nations champion or whatever it is, but not British champion.
You've got a point.
Okay, that's just me being Irish. Okay. So we'll start with Luke this time. We'll go in reverse order. So something which is great about the tournament kind of calendar or system or in the UK.
My favourite aspects of the tournaments, it'd have to be the social. Obviously, you get quite a few people turn up, especially at the Grand Prix. People of all kind of shapes and sizes, loads of different people, and it's quite cool. So you get to know loads of the guys, and Saturday night, go out, maybe have a few drinks, nice meal. Like I say, because we're from Jersey, it's like a holiday for us as well as a serious tournament.
Okay.
And so yeah, for me, the social was massive.
Interesting point of view. I'm not sure how many people would pick that, but that's a good, everybody's got their own kind of way of looking at things. And what tournaments do you think, is that the Grand Prix you're talking about, that people go out afterwards, or what is it?
I mean, I can't lie. I've always been too young to go out. But I know the Jersey Grand Prix, has always been decent social, and I don't know, I like seeing all these different people and stuff, and obviously can get quite rowdy on the table. It's just good fun.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been to Jersey, I don't know how many times, never been out in Jersey. I always just take the early flight on the Sunday evening straight after the tournament. So I'm back ready.
You're not a big socialiser though, are you, Rory, when it comes to evenings of table tennis?
No, I mean, in the past, I've had my, shandy after a league match or maybe a tournament, but yeah, no, it's not something I don't really go to pubs or whatever very much at all, actually. So this is it. I like to talk to people at the tournament and stuff, but yeah. Okay, so Krish, something that you really like about the tournament scene in the UK?
I like the competitiveness because lots of the people they go to the same tournaments as me, and I've played them 4 or 5 times most of the people. So it's just more competitive when you've played them more times.
Okay, so the competitivity of the tournaments, nice one. And Ivan?
No, I mean, for me, it's a whole thing. It's a whole lifestyle. It's I think it's great to have a sport that we love. We can love it and hate it at times, but most of the time we love it. this I see it as a whole thing, including the table tennis and the social side. I see the vets community as friends and gained so many wonderful friends over the years. And I like the training side of it, building up to the competitions, and I think we've got a great variety of competitions. You can play an awful lot of table tennis. I haven't done a Grand Prix for years, but maybe I should do some Grand Prix again, because I think they're a good format as well, and I should play a few more youngsters, keep me sharp. Yeah. I see it as both for the competitiveness and the social side, very much.
Good. So kind of a mixture of Krish and what Luke said. It just occurred to me I never gave my opinion on my least favourite tournament format. Well, I'm agreeing with Ivan on this one. It is the Vets Masters format, for the simple reason, especially if you're between 40 and 50, as I am. You play your singles group on the Saturday. Don't know what time. It could be like 11 o'clock or whatever. You play your 3 games. Then you might play doubles in the evening on the Saturday if you're that way inclined, or else you have to wait nearly 24 hours to play your knockout match on the Sunday. And I've played in these tournaments a couple of times, and invariably I've lost at 9 o'clock in the morning. Actually, no, the first time I lost at 9 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday, and that was me going home, which I thought never again. But then this season there was a local one. So I thought, it's in Crawley, it's 10 minutes drive down the road. I'll enter it. If I get knocked out, I'll just go home and do whatever, So then I played my group, won my group, play on the Sunday. So I did play the doubles. I actually came second in the doubles. I hadn't entered the doubles, but then I decided to play on a scratch entry. And anyway, come second in the doubles. So that was all right. Then on the Sunday, I was due to play at about 11, so I had a bit of a lie-in. Oh, no, I had mixed doubles, actually. Sorry. And, played horribly in the mixed doubles, and I think we might have won one match, and it was awful. Should have come second in the group, and anyway, we didn't. Then, so I was due to play, I think, 11 or 12 o'clock in the first round after the group of the singles. And anyway, it was 3 o'clock before Mike and I got on the table. And we were both sitting around for about 3 hours, twiddling our thumbs. We both could have played. There were like 15 free tables at any one time. And I thought, what is this? What's going on? Anyway, I ended up losing to him in the 5th set. And so I had...
Who did you play?
Mike Brown. We always have a close game. I used to always beat him, but last season he had a good record against me. But yeah, and I just thought... It's got to be better formats than this. I know they talk about scheduling, but anyway, I don't want to dwell on that for too long. I've covered it in another show. So, Calum, something you like about the tournament scene in the UK?
I think definitely in Scotland. I think it's probably the same in the UK. But the spread of competitions just around the country, there's definitely, I think, at least 1 or 2 competitions in most of the bigger cities in Scotland. And I think it's quite nice, and I think it's quite fair to have competitions in all parts of the country, so that people aren't travelling to the same places every single time. And I think it's the same roughly in the UK as well. But on the other hand, for British League, where it's always in the same place, I think if you're near that place, I think it's great. It's very easy to get to. But if you're traveling a long time to get to that place, I think it can be slightly unfair on those that have to, take long trains or even fly to those places. So I would say the spread in the country is probably the thing I'm going to mention.
They do tend to try and put clubs, relatively close to their home venue in the British League, the Senior British League. I mean, mostly you're within an hour's drive. Obviously, there's exceptions. You could be up to 2 hours. But obviously, if you don't live near your home club, obviously, you could live anywhere and play for a club from anywhere. But generally, I think they're not too badly spread out in terms of the British League. But that's a good point in terms of the spread of tournaments. Now, so my favorite thing about the tournaments in the UK is that there's just so many of them. I mean, I can fit in probably a tournament every weekend, and I do, because I can play in senior and veteran category, and I play in everything. And I can map out my season at the beginning of the season and get my diary out, and I say, this weekend I got this weekend I got this. I got 2 tournaments that weekend. I got British League, County. I got, and I can pretty much play every weekend. And then the ones I can't play, I just schedule. I referee tournaments those days, or maybe I do some coaching. So I'm generally doing table tennis every weekend. Obviously not at the moment because of lockdown. But yeah, that's my favorite thing about the tournaments in the UK. The fact that there's so many of them, and you can just play. And you don't have to be like me. You could just be playing once a month, but you can generally play on whatever weekend you want. If you're a junior or a veteran, or especially if you're, especially if you're junior vet, because you can also play seniors as well. Anyway, question 5. Sorry, Chloe. Question 4. Something you'd like to change about the tournaments in the UK, Luke?
Oh, I don't know. I don't like criticising like people, and obviously you don't criticise people answering this kind of question, but indirectly,
let's phrase it in another way. Something new and exciting you'd like to introduce to the world of table tennis in the UK. There we go.
Oh no, I don't know, but listen, because I've kind of planned my answers, so you'll spin me off otherwise. Obviously, no one likes to waiting around at a Grand Prix. Like it is pretty dead. But at the same time, like I'd challenge anyone to do a better job with it. I mean, it must be an absolute nightmare. And I know a couple of the guys. I'm quite friendly with Alex Mercer, who obviously works as part of the competitions tournaments department, and he tells me like how difficult it is, and I don't envy his position at all. And I think the other one that people gripe at quite a lot is the cost. But again, like, I mean, it can't be cheap to rent out that Derby arena with that velodrome spinning around the top for JBL. And so, like, they've got to make some sort of money. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, we pay for that.
Apparently, they don't make money; they just cover costs. I don't know how true that is, but that's
that's what I mean. And you can't expect them to make a loss. I mean, what kind of business is that? I'm no businessman, but
I think waiting around at Grand Prix, it really depends on which referee is doing it. I know I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a kind of maybe less experienced referee who was running one of the Grand Prix, and things were 3 hours late. But when you get one of the kind of more experienced referees, generally Grand Prix are not too bad. Generally, you're playing until you get to the final. If you do, if you're in one of those people who gets to finals, you generally don't have much break between games in Grand Prix, unless the odd occasion where it's not being run to schedule. But I think generally Grand Prix are not bad on that compared to.
To be fair, thinking about it, the times where I have been waiting around at Grand Prix have been the times lost early. So that kind of.
Oh, well, that's your own fault then, Luke, isn't it?
I know, but I do hear people. I hear people gripe about it and stuff, and I can understand it, but at the same time, give the referee a break. You know what I mean?
When I lose in my band 2 group, and I do mean when, not if, I fully accept that I've got to wait around 2 to 3 hours before I get on from my band 3 group. But yeah.
I remember playing in one of the Grand Prix. I played 25 matches over the course of the weekend.
That's not bad, is it? That's not bad at all. I love that. I mean, I run my own tournaments, and I play vets and seniors in the same day. And on 2 occasions, I played 18 best-of-5 matches, singles, on the same day. And both times I won all 18. And that was a good feeling, actually, And they were both groups and then knockout, I think. So it was good. Yeah.
Is that where you banned everyone that was ranked higher than 500 in the country?
I didn't ban them, but they didn't enter. I was the top seed for both events, but I did have people like Phil Snelson and others in there, which, Phil's actually got a good record against me. Yeah. Anyway, so that was Luke. Krish?
I'd probably like to add doubles to 2 stars, maybe.
Okay. Add doubles.
Singles we do all the time, so it'd be nice to change it up.
Okay, good suggestion. Ivan?
Um, I think it would be nice to introduce actually something of a little bit more of a glamorous competition, a bit like the ping pong, what they've done.
Yeah.
Just maybe a bit more lights and music and stuff, just to throw something different into the mix.
Would you do like qualifications for open qualification and then some like top seeds invited or something like that maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Nationals, one of the issues with the Nationals is they've closed it down, whereas before you could enter and get into it.
Well,
so
there
I think
there is a qualification now for the seniors.
Yeah, but they knocked off the vets, didn't they? I don't think there's vets in it anymore.
There's no vets in it anymore at all. No.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but it would be quite interesting to do something that was possibly sponsored, and that whole ping pong feeling about it. And I think they've done that a little bit on the international stage, haven't they? Yeah. They've done it with some of the international team events now. Where they've jazzed it up a bit. Yeah. So I think that could be, as an introduction, it could be quite interesting to do that.
Good. And Calum?
Well, Luke sort of took my first answer and I even took my second because I literally just wrote down ping pong. But I would agree with everyone there. I think I've been to the ping pong a couple of times and I think it's the best competition to watch in the whole year. I think, just the whole atmosphere, and even with it's slightly more informal than a Grand Prix or a Nationals. It might not be the most high sort of caliber competition there is, but it gets lots and lots of people watching, and everyone there just enjoys it so much. And I think the small parts of there's a massive golden buzzer for double points, and just the sort of small details like that just make it a really good competition. I think on a sort of smaller, probably less important point, quite a lot of times at sometimes Grand Prix or other 4 stars for juniors and things, the courts will be quite small in the group matches, and it's probably just because they try to throw in so many tables in the same hall, which I can completely understand. Although I know that in some of the competitions they'll take down tables and then rearrange the tables to make them bigger for the later stages and things. But I think when you've got really top players playing in these competitions, it does seem a bit strange to have courts that are like 4 meters wide and things. And I remember I've played in a couple of competitions and you can't even step around to play a forehand on your backhand side, and it just sort of takes away from the professionalism of the competition, if you know what I mean.
Okay, from my experience in the UK, I haven't played many in Scotland. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but Grand Prix and that, they generally have 9 meters by 5 meters, which to me is adequate. Okay, maybe not the best for someone who's like going back lobbing and chopping maybe, but as far I mean I do a bit of that and I don't seem to be hindered by the court sizes. Was it Scotland or England or where that you were saying that these court sizes are small?
I remember playing a Six Nations, I think 4 or 6 years ago, and they needed a lot of tables in the court in the hall. And I remember playing, and when I was serving on my side, there was honestly about 2 feet on the behind me, and that was it. And it wasn't just me complaining. It was everyone else had this sort of similar view that for a British competition where you're supposed to have the best players there, it's supposed to be quite a big event. You have these tiny courts, and I'm not saying it's a massive issue or anything. It's just something I just thought of just now, which I thought.
I played in the Six Nations in Guernsey, the veteran Six Nations, got a silver medal. But we played Guernsey on. Well, to be honest, all the courts were quite small because they're trying to fit 16 tables or whatever into a relatively small venue. So yeah, I could say for that it was a bit. But I mean,
I was there for that one, wasn't I? I was there at that one.
Yes, I think. Did you win the over 50 singles?
And doubles.
Doubles.
And doubles with Jimmy Walsh.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so I know.
We won the team event and the doubles. there was a knockout which I didn't play in on the Sunday. Steve
Yeah,
Green on that one.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I know. Luke has to leave us soon. So I'll give him the first shot at the next couple of questions. So Luke, any thoughts on local league or the various formats of British League or National Cadet League, National Junior League, and also any other comments related to tournaments? So anything on that, team events, or just any other comments to do with tournaments in the UK before you go?
Yeah, local league's brilliant. It's probably one of my favourite competitions thinking about it, but I haven't been able to play it. Obviously, I used to play in Jersey, and our local league's like the National League, because obviously, like, we're tiny. So, like, local league was decent, and it's quite cool. It's quite rewarding. You can obviously see players develop, and I think it's like a massive part of players improving and stuff. With regards to like the format, I don't know. I don't really have any gripes about that or any comments on it. Junior British League, like, again, like a decent tournament. You get to play loads of players around your level. Obviously, I haven't played the Vets one, but played Senior British League, again, similar kind of format. You're in a division with loads of people around your ranking and stuff, and so I think generally they're all pretty good. Any other comments? Not really. Shout out to Table Tennis England. They do a decent job on all the tournaments. Shout out to my mate Alex Mercer. Yeah, it'd be cool to see like a top 10 event. Like if you got like the top 10 in England or Britain. I think I saw something going around on Facebook about like them trying to put some money in towards it, because obviously these guys don't work for free. But I think that'd be decent, and like if you could have like make an event out of it, you know, like a couple drinks. Like imagine getting like absolutely mortaled and watching Pitchford hit like wristy backhands. Like it'd be unbelievable, wouldn't it? But I don't know. That's just a thought. I thought I'd just chuck it in there. But yeah, I'll stick around. I'll stick around till the end. Unless, are you happy for me to just dip now, because I do have a prior arrangement I need to be at.
If you want to go, we can just, because you've answered the question. It's up to you if you want to stay or go.
Yeah, apologies, guys. I've got somewhere to be, but nice
I've
meeting you all as well.
I've got to bow out in a couple of minutes, Rory, as well.
All right, I'll let you go next then, Ivan. All right, well, see you, Luke. Thanks for your contribution.
Oh. Take care. Cheers.
Ivan, if you want to answer the question next. So, any thoughts on local league and team event?
I played local league for many, many years. I played 2 local leagues, Leeds and Bradford. We've got, I don't know whether it's different elsewhere, 3-man team, play everyone in a doubles. And I've always enjoyed it. I've done it for many, many years. I mean, right now, we don't know what the situation is at the moment. We don't know whether we'll start this season. But I enjoy that format. I started as a kid doing it. I know there's complaints sometimes that we need to shorten it to get more kids playing. I don't know whether that would have an effect or not. If you want to play table tennis, you'll play. If you've got other distractions or other sports, you won't. Finishing earlier, I don't know. I like that whole evening thing. I don't want to be playing table tennis and it's done in an hour. It's for the evening. So I enjoy it.
How about Vets British League, Senior British League?
Well, I haven't played Senior British League for years and years. I'd probably like to play it again. Vets British League, yeah, it's quite expensive.
It is.
But I like it. I think there's great pressure, good team event. I like the fact that everyone's in the same hall. I've managed our team now for quite a few years, and we've had successes and some failures. And so I don't really have an issue with it. There's plenty of games over the 2 weekends. As I say, it's quite expensive. And again, it's the same with anything. You either, if you enjoy it, you want to do it. If you don't, then don't. But there's obviously a lot of people want to do it because they're always, full, aren't there? There's always people queuing to get in to do it. And the standard is tremendous. So, no real complaints.
No. It just occurred to me that I didn't say my what I would change about tournaments in the UK. A couple that don't affect me. Bring back restricted singles in the Grand Prix, because I think it's unfair for the seniors to have less singles opportunities than the non-seniors, considering that the Grand Prix are a senior tournament. Doesn't affect me because I'm a veteran now. The veterans, the Vets Masters tournaments, well, obviously, something that does affect me, change the format. I don't currently play in them, but if they change the format where they completed the events in one day, I would certainly be in there playing them all. But if you're over 60, I think you should be allowed to play in 3 age groups, which used to be the case, but not anymore. And to bring back a veterans national tournament, which excludes people who are not English. So you've currently got the Vets Masters Nationals, but as long as you're a member of the Vets Society, you can be Swedish, English, Irish, whatever nationality you like, and you can still win a title. There's no English veterans closed. Okay, anyway, carrying on with the
I've got to get off, Rory, so I'm babysitting for my grandson.
Okay, thanks for your contribution, Ivan, and I'll see you.
Hey, boys. Nice to meet you both.
Bye.
Catch up
with you. Take care. Bye.
So, Calum, your thoughts on the team events? You've given a bit of a comment on it earlier, but yeah, if you want to expand on that or give us some other thoughts.
Yeah, I think I really like British League. I think that's one of the best competitions in the year for me, just because I think there's a good number of weekends during the year. I think it's 5 or 6, and it's quite nice just to meet up with your team every now and then. And also, I think they've got a good balance between the number of matches, but also the quality of matches as well. I think in the weekend you can get 8 singles matches, which is decent for a competition, for playing most players around your level. And I know that British Premier League is a lot different. And I've not actually played that, so I can't say much about that. But I know that Championships are a good level for me, and I really like the setup there. The halls there are usually pretty good, and the floor, the cleanliness, lights, the whole facilities are usually pretty good. So I would say British League's one of my better competitions in the year.
And did you talk about local league or?
I've never played local league in England.
Never played local league, not even as a young kid, or?
No, well, I've never played for a club in England.
No, Scotland. I'm talking about.
In Scotland, yeah, I've played in Scotland.
Yeah,
I played in my Edinburgh League for quite a number of years, and they're run pretty well. There's 3 players in each team, I think, for the last time I remember, I think, and there's a doubles as well in there too. So I think it's quite hard to play a lot of matches without having 5 or 6 players in each team, and then the whole thing lasts 2 or 3 hours. But I think they got the balance right there of the number of players, but also just keeping the whole match in a reasonable space of time. But yeah, they run pretty well. You don't really have to travel too far for your matches, and everyone's very different standards there. So there's usually, I think even when I was 15 or 16, I was still getting players a lot better than me, and it was good matches to have every single week just to keep yourself match sharp.
Good. Krish, thoughts on local league? And I don't know if you've played Junior British League, but maybe you've played National Cadet League, National Junior League.
Yeah, I've played local league, but it's quite different to like normal tournaments because you're not playing that many kids, and it's like different styles. It's quite hard.
Is that good or bad for a development of a player of your age, or do you think it's good?
It's good because you can play different styles, and you might lose, but like at least you're playing different styles, so it'll help your game. Yeah.
Okay, and what about National Cadet League, National Junior League, if you've played them, and what you think of those formats?
I think I played one National Cadet League, and I think it was like quite longer. I think it was like Division 2 or 3, but yeah, I think it's 10 matches, isn't it?
Yeah, and did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's quite good, yeah.
Did you not play any team event other than local league this season gone, or the season just went?
All I played is for Surrey, yeah, but the
And how do
junior
you
one.
find? Do you enjoy playing counties then?
Yeah, I like playing counties, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't play many cadet. I mostly played junior for Surrey.
Okay. Yeah. For me, playing for your county is an honour. You know, you get chosen. Um, you should try and make an effort, even if you're a good player. I think representing your county is important, and I've enjoyed playing for the county team when I've been chosen to do so. But I think everything about local league and is brilliant. You know, the only thing I would change about local league, our local league is great because we play each match over 1.5 tables. So there's 3 tables for 2 matches, and we finish by 9:30 or 10, 10 at the latest because we've got to be out by 10, but usually 9:30. And then some people go home, some people go off to the pub, etc. You know, kids can get an early night. People are getting up early in the morning. I think that's a way forward to either play on 1.5 tables or actually have 2 tables devoted to your league match, which is what we do for our lower division, our Division 1 teams. Premier is 1.5 tables, all in a central venue. So all the Premier 14 teams are all in the same venue, K2 Leisure Centre, on a Thursday evening. It's a really strong standard. In fact, it might be something for you, Krish, to consider. I know you're not too far away, but yeah, you're going to get some really quality matches. You're going to get 3 good matches. Even the bottom players are good. You know, I think I had a very, very poor average this season. I was like 61%, which is the lowest I've ever had. But that's down to the fact that the league has got so much stronger, and also I probably didn't have the best of seasons as well. But every week you're guaranteed 3 quality matches. So that's local league, and I played last season in 9 different local leagues. Okay, obviously I didn't play regularly in that many. I played every match in the Crawley and Horsham because it's always on a Thursday. Played every match in the what was the other one I played every match in? Maybe there wasn't this year because normally I play Brighton League every match, but that was changed into a 2-player format, which I didn't like. I didn't want to travel all the way down to Brighton to play just 2 singles, so I didn't play that one. So I ended up. I played a lot. No, I think the rest of the leagues I just played some matches here and there, and I played maybe 50% of the matches in some of the leagues. But I played some of the leagues I only played 2 or 3 matches in, literally just to help people out. But I was trying to get 2 or 3 matches per week, occasionally 4. I think once I actually got 5 matches in the same week, Monday to Friday, which was, I think, the only time I've ever done that. And I won all the doubles matches, and I won 14 out of the 15 singles matches. I lost my last singles match against somebody I'd normally beat as well. So, but the best player I played that week that I beat was Martin Gunn, who I've had a bad record against. So yeah, I think local league is great. Senior British League, I think you don't get enough matches in a day. You get 4 singles matches in a day, which is kind of, I suppose, that, and you get doubles as well if you get chosen to play in the doubles, which for me is like the minimum amount of matches I would agree to play in one day. You know, ideally I'd like 10 singles matches in a day, you know. But I can accept having 4 singles matches in a day because you're also investing a lot of energy in supporting your teammates. And actually you do get tired after it because it's not like you're playing 4 matches. You're actually playing 16, or no, it's actually 18, isn't it, including the doubles? So you're actually surprisingly tiring watching your opponents and coaching them and giving them advice. If it was a singles tournament and you're just playing 4 matches, you'd be like, why have I bothered? But I think with the team event, it's a bit better. I would still like to see more matches. We do Vets British League. We have 6 matches on the Saturday and 4 on the Sunday. And we leave a bit earlier on the Sunday, which is slightly better. Not too bothered about doubles, but in a team event, it's probably a kind of a good thing. But yeah, National Cadet League, National Junior League, I think are absolutely fantastic. You're getting 9 or 10 matches in a day. You know, for kids, young kids, it's great. They can manage that no problem. Matches don't last so long. It's a lower level. So, and also it's great for people who are not like Junior British League standard. to get to play people their own age, their own standard, and plenty of matches, good experience, ranking points. I have I have a lot of cadet players. I don't have so many junior players at the moment, but they generally all enter the National Cadet League, even though most of them are not big on tournaments. They might enter one or two tournaments or none in the year, but they'll all enter the National Cadet League, and it's a team event, and they like, you know, you kind of feel like a club and a team, and you got your friends there, hopefully similar standard, and you're playing similar standard opponents. So we did quite well. We had 3 teams in Division 1, 2, and 3, and we came second in each of the divisions. And then we got halfway through the season, they got the second and third team got promoted, and then they didn't do so well in the higher division. But and the first team came second overall. But yeah, I just think that they're really, really good. Good. Okay, so we're just about to wrap up. So Calum or Krish, have you got any final thoughts that you'd like to say about tournaments in the UK before we wrap up?
I think I've said almost everything I wanted to say, I think. But yeah, I think as you said before, just the whole number of competitions is probably the biggest thing, and I think that's definitely a big thing in the UK. So I would say that's top in the UK. Great.
Last word from Krish.
Overall, I just generally like the tournaments that we play.
Good. Okay, so thanks very much, Calum and Krish, and obviously to Luke and Ivan as well for their contributions to the show, and hopefully we'll be back again next week with some new guests. Thanks a lot, everybody, and bye now. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.